What up, y'all? I'm JT, Chef Tickles, the Alaskan Sniper. I'm here with your boy Chris Easy, Deuces -1, Chris Evans.
What up? What up?
We're joined here with our man, Big Daddy, the boy himself, Faraz Sani.
What it do, baby?
And let's get into it. This is Hoop Session. What up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 21 of Hoop Session. We got The Office featuring us today.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good intro. Good stuff. We got a lot to talk about today. We got our first ever fan question that we're going to debate about. We got some start bench cut. We're going to go over our pick'em results as well, and maybe we can get a response from DB. But as you guys noticed, no DB today. He's out with injury. We hope to have him back soon. He's day to day at the moment. He had some emergency chiropractic work done on his back. But Faraz, how you been,
better,
man?
Yeah. I'm good, man. I'm good. Just been busy with work. Fucking, starting my own work, my own business now. Starting to focus on that. So it's been a little bit busy, man.
Yeah, good for you, man.
www.premiumaccessories.ca.
Chris, flash.
Yeah. Boom. For your premium smoking necessities.
Hoop Session brought to you by.
Exactly, man. Everybody gets free samples.
What's up with you, Chris?
Just chilling, man. It's my birthday on Monday, so entered that year 30th year, so be pretty chilling out about that, I guess you can say.
Right. Yeah.
How much wiser are you?
I don't think I'm wiser. I think I just understand the world better, that one day that changed my life.
Is your back and knees and stuff hurt now or what?
No, not yet. Still an athlete. Still an athlete. Still an athlete.
Dude, all right, well, mine's been hurting for like 2-3 years already. So.
Dude, it's fucked that it's been like 4 or 5 days now that my left knee is fucked. Like I'm gonna go see Mike about it on Friday. Dude, some days I feel like it might give out. Like I'm walking and I feel it like buckle and I'm like, oh my god.
Jeez.
You gotta ring Marley back in. She's pulling you too hard.
Yeah, man. Something's going on.
He's walking you tomorrow. Now, bro.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Cam tomorrow and get some cracks in.
Oh, good shit.
Get some neck cracks in. Yeah. Good stuff.
Nice.
Let's jump into our first ever fan question. This is dope. So we all know our buddy Paul Nirienda from out here in Poco basketball, where we would always play with him, obviously in the summertime outdoor a lot, but he messaged me about something that we should talk about, and I know it's something him and Chris have gone back and forth about before in the past, so that should be quite entertaining. But he posed the question to me about Kyrie Irving. Is he underappreciated? Is kind of how he worded it. So let's just take it as that at first, and see if we can counteract Chris's points. But Faraz, go ahead, Kyrie.
So when he says underappreciated, kind of like undervalued in the same sense, right? Like basketball wise, like people undervalue him, right?
Yeah.
To be honest, man, maybe a little bit, but I don't think he's that underappreciated. I just think that some of his off-court actions tend to cloud his ability or like what he's capable of, and people tend to focus that. But when all that other stuff's not around and people are just like focusing on his basketball, I feel like they value him. Like they all agree that he's an unbelievable player. So I don't know. Like that's a tough question. Like, maybe a little bit, just because everything else surrounding him just seems to take precedence over what he does on the court.
Right. Yeah, I agree. This question seems kind of basic on the surface, but after I thought about it for a little bit, I'm like, okay, his game, not really. Like his game is pretty respected, right?
Yeah.
But him as a player, or just like him as a person, I think he's greatly underappreciated. Like there's all this all-star talk going on right now about who's going to make it in, and everybody seems to kind of seem that like Kyrie's the third wheel on that team, right? And that's like. Yo, he's up there in terms of point guards, man. Like he's an elite player, obviously. But then, like you said, his off-court stuff kind of clouds it. Chris, I know you'll have an opinion on that, but that's where I think he's underappreciated. I think the true reasons as to what's going on off the court isn't being explained to us, And a lot of the people are just taking that negatively. But I think what he's actually trying to do is super, super positive. But he's just somebody who's maybe underappreciated or maybe misunderstood. He's like one of my favorite players. And I think for that reason, like I can tell, obviously on the court, he's elite. You can pick any of those top 10, 15 guys, and he's obviously elite basketball player. But for me, where he's underappreciated, I think, is off the court. So Chris, come at me back about that off the court antics.
Well, I'll just start with yes, Kyrie is a good player. Like I'm not knocking that. I believe in his skills. I think he's a good player. I just think the fact that he played second fiddle to LeBron all those years and basically was like the Robin to LeBron's Batman when they won the finals, I'd say because he was in that shadow and then now he's in KD and Harden's shadow. I think all three of us can agree that Kyrie isn't, or James Harden isn't in Kyrie's shadow in Brooklyn. I think it's goes KD, Harden, then Kyrie. So in terms of underappreciated, in terms of his basketball stuff, maybe a little bit just because he's always playing with these top-notch players. Like he went to Boston for what? I don't even know, 2 years now. And he was top guy on that team, but he didn't do anything with it. We got to the Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 without him in the playoffs. So it sort of shows that he can't be that Batman, in my opinion, compared to like he needs to be that second fiddle, which is why I think he got KD to come to Brooklyn as well, and like just needs somebody there to be the alpha. But as you said, off the court, it is tough to judge him based on what he does because he do a lot. I think so, but does he handle himself the way he goes about it? Is it right? I don't think so. You don't attack the media when you're making 30 plus million a year and you're obliged to talk to them. You don't, and then the media is the one who's relaying your story out to people.
Well, to fire back real quick, he's only obliged to talk about, I guess, basketball issues, right? Not about.
Yes, but just calling the media pawns and just completely shunning the media and completely saying, get out of my life. Like, I don't care about you guys.
Wow. That's
sort of what off-puts a lot of people. I think. Just the
fact
that
I agree. I agree that it does off-put a lot of people, but at the same time, it's his right. Like anyone can be like, yo, fuck the media. Like it's what I'm doing in my own life. It is what it is.
Yeah, but then don't come at people when they take what you do negatively because you're not explaining yourself. You're just not showing up for 7 games without talking to anybody on the team. So obviously there's going to be questions raised. And if you don't explain yourself to the media who's there to convey your message, then obviously you're going to be looked at as a negative, in a negative light just because of the way. So he's sort of putting that on himself and then saying, oh, why am I portrayed as the bad guy when you're literally just not helping your case by ghosting everybody, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And he made some mistakes along the way. Like maybe he should have done some things differently, right? Yeah.
For me, Kyrie has always been like, I feel like he's always trying to prove a point. That's the only thing with him is like I see a bit of a chip on his shoulder in that way where I could see a scenario where he was like to Nash and Durant, like, hey, like I got this going on at home. I bet you if I don't say anything to the media, they're automatically going to turn it like negative, this and that, right? Or like the whole situation with his knee. Remember before with Cleveland, he's like, if you don't trade me, I'm going to force knee surgery.
Yeah.
Right. So they traded him to Boston. Like, like. I think he's using these situations to like almost prove that the media just kind of automatically takes that negative look on them and that he's trying to prove like, why do I even have to tell you guys? Like, yeah, obviously there's a part, like you said, Chris, there's a bit of an obligation when you're that kind of role, that kind of figure, you have your own shoe that these people like idolize you and look up to you. But at the end of the day, like, who is he to tell us what the hell he's doing? Right. Like if I have some issues going on at home and I got to take time off work, like, I'm not obligated to tell everybody about it. Obviously it's a different situation, but I'm just trying to humanize him a bit, right? He's a 8-year-old dude who's hooping. Nobody taught him how to do this perfectly, right? I don't know. What do you think, Faraz?
Yeah, but the fact that you don't go at, like, you don't even tell, like, in the public side, like the GM and Steve Nash both had no clue where he was. And then he was filmed, whatever, like the whole maskless party he was at, just out of the blue, boom, that comes up kind of thing. Like, Those are the things that don't make you look good in the eyes of other people, regardless of all the good stuff he does do. That stuff doesn't make you look good. And a lot of people run with the negative. And if you don't do anything to correct that or to like get ahead of the story, then you're sort of putting it on yourself, especially when you're that big of a figure in the basketball world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the thing with that is, though, I don't believe the fact that Steve Nash and that like nobody in the organization knew. I feel like the right people knew.
But see, then why would they lie that they haven't heard from Kyrie?
But did the GM and Steve Nash come out and say like we haven't heard a word from him?
I have heard they haven't talked to Steve. They haven't talked to Kyrie like in the first few games that they missed.
Yeah.
So
that no one had, but like
that's what I read.
Like, really? Okay. Like I was like maybe like he was talking to KD because like something there like doesn't seem right because everyone was so chill about it and now it's all good. Like everything's just flowing so smooth. Like I always assumed, but then again, maybe Chris is right. Maybe it actually was that way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm honestly just playing devil's. Yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate for the conversation. To be honest, like we don't know, and all I'm trying to say is like we tend to focus on like the negative side or like the worst case scenario, just as people, as media, like you said, Chris. But yeah, maybe he did ghost them, and this is Steve Nash's second week coaching an NBA team, and he's like, "Fuck is this dude? I'm gonna do what I can get away with. There's no chance he's benching me." Right?
Yeah, you never know, right?
Maybe he did. Yeah, maybe he did take it that way. But Faraz, I'll throw this to you. He rephrased the question. Paul rephrased the question after. He said, "Do you think he's viewed the same way that Kobe was viewed early in his career before he was, super established?"
Well, I don't know. How was Kobe really viewed in the early days? Like as the villain, like as the bad guy?
Yeah, or like that, that black hole that he wanted to leave Lakers for a while. That black hole that can't really win unless he has Shaq with him. Maybe that's what Paul was meaning. Like at post Shaq era, before he kind of rallied it and took that team by himself. When he was younger.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually say no. I'm gonna say that you can't compare the two. I feel like just because Kobe on his own, just because the expectations were so high. Yeah. I don't think Kyrie is at that level.
I think those expectations were really high when he went to Boston. It's like, hey, you have this young team that pushed LeBron and the Cavs last year. Now you got Kyrie. It's like you better win a chip or at least go to the finals.
And but Kyrie was on that team that pushed Bron to Game 7, but he didn't play the playoffs.
I see. Yeah. So when they got traded was the
17. Tatum got drafted.
Was the year before.
Yeah.
I see. Right. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. Yeah, this one's tough. It's tough to compare to Kobe.
I didn't really watch a lot of basketball back then. Obviously, I've seen those games and stuff, but that's after I've already understand the narrative of what Kobe is and where he was in his career, right? When I started watching basketball, it was like 2010. Kobe's already got like 4 rings. And he just won the championship. So, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know if he's viewed as Kobe the same way either. Kobe, I think, is on that other level, like you said, Faraz, where he's just like, he is that 1A type player. And in terms of, playing style, I don't necessarily see that the same either. Like Kobe, Kobe was viewed as like a selfish, type player. I keep saying the like black hole term, but one of those selfish type players that never passes the ball. But I think Kyrie is, really established as a ball mover as well. So I don't know. You got anything on that comparison, Chris? Kobe and Kyrie?
I just think the way we saw Kobe back in his day. Yes, like I was like one of Kobe's biggest haters, like obviously Celtics, Lakers rivalry, blah, blah, blah. But seeing Kobe play and like even just looking back and watching old games, Kobe, you can tell Kobe was there to win at all costs. He was there to put the dagger in your heart every single game. He was there to play. He was there to hoop. Regardless of whatever is going on, he was there to win. He was there to hoop. I don't see that in Kyrie. Kyrie's just there to do his own thing, to maybe like take days off and all that stuff. So that's hard. That's why you can't compare the two, I'd say. Because Kobe, every night you knew Kobe was going to every day, really, like even off the off days, probably you see Kobe just the killer instinct type of thing, like the drive, the mama mentality, what we all say kind of thing. But I don't think you can ever say that for Kyrie because he's never been that 1A type player. Like he's like a 2A plus player. Like you need that LeBron, you need that KD for him to. He can't like. I don't.
Never been given the chance to be that player.
He got the chance in Boston.
He was injured. To be fair, there was a lot of injury there.
Yes, there was injury and there was a lot of other stuff too.
Discontent too. Yeah, like they, I think it wasn't the perfect fit either.
Yes,
like for that system, well,
the team.
I don't think
the team in general. Yeah, the team in general was weird because that's right when you got Hayward, and Hayward was this great number one type player coming from Utah, gets brutally injured, and now he's like the fifth, sixth guy off the bench. Like it doesn't really make sense. So not just Kyrie's fit, but like that whole team really wasn't.
It was weird,
and
right?
I don't think they expected Tatum to be as good as he was right out of the draft.
Exactly.
So that sort of put a hit into Hayward's like all-star projection. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Good point. Anybody else on Kyrie before we move on?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say because like he never really was given that like opportunity to really be the number one guy. So I don't know, like maybe he could be Batman, but then like Chris said, like he got KD there, that always made me think like, not everyone has to be that top dog, right? Like not everyone has those leadership qualities, like to be that dude, like to be the LeBron or to be the Jordan or the Kobe, like to be dudes in that level. And it's like, I don't know, maybe he's realized that. And like, if he has, that's unbelievable. And he's just like, I'll bring in, I'll team up with guys that have those other qualities and then they could take him over the edge. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
But see, didn't he have his chance in Brooklyn that first year he was in Brooklyn? That was his team. And they got a seed or something like that? The last season.
He got injured again.
He was injured again. Yeah. I think it's always been marred by injuries.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like you were saying, Faraz, like it's okay to be that kind of player where you're not the the top dog. I think he has that killer mentality. He can, and he obviously has the elite skill. But like you said, maybe he's just more of like a discontented player who's like Chris was kind of hinting at, like, yeah, I feel like hooping today, and like maybe tomorrow I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
It depends what day you catch me on.
He's honestly, but he's not obsessed about basketball. Basketball's not like, it's not always number one in his mind. Whereas, there's a lot of those players that it's like, this is what I do. Like this supersedes everything. But I feel like with Kyrie, like some things come along the way and he's just like I really care about that. Fuck this. And he just goes to that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like if you compare it to Dame, right? Like Dame, I would say Kyrie has a better handle probably than Dame and better finishing maybe around the rim. Dame's a better shooter. But he's somebody that's like a bona fide number 1A Batman leader type player, right? And relatively the same size. Kyrie's maybe a bit smaller, but he hasn't. Yeah, but if you look at how they're viewed, right? Kyrie's looked at this guy who can't do it on his own, blah, 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 but he has a championship. Damian Lillard kind of viewed differently as like, this guy can put everything on his back. This is the guy, but hasn't ultimately ended up in a championship. So I don't know, just something kind of random, interesting that came to mind.
Well, yeah, it's also the way their careers have panned out, right? Like Dame has had opportunities to leave and he stayed. And I feel like that plays a role in how people think about him when it comes to Kyrie. Like if Kyrie had stayed in Cleveland and LeBron left and Kyrie just stayed and kept balling out, he would probably be viewed even better than Dame.
Great point. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Although Dame did get boatloads of money. So he has like over 300 million reasons to stay. So,
but also look at the team around Kyrie's championship team versus the team around Dame's squad and who Dame has had to go up against, the strong Warriors teams every year kind of thing.
Yeah, but he also had LeBron. So it's like, you don't
really Kyrie had, that's what I'm saying. Kyrie had LeBron. What's it called? Dame had CJ.
Yeah.
Well, Dame had LaMarcus Aldridge for a bit, right?
But they were always going up against that Warriors team,
Yeah. Yeah, but you could say the same thing. Like, those Cleveland teams were going up against that tough X team, but no, they just smash them every year, right?
But there was no tough X team in the East at that time.
Yeah.
For a little while,
them.
the East was easy pickings.
Yeah. So let's jump down to the pick'em results without DB. Obviously, we'll try to get his answer maybe edited in here, but Faraz picked the last game correctly. He goes to 3-0. Big Daddy. Chris also picked correctly with Charlotte Hornets beating Miami. So he goes to 2-1. Me and DB both took Miami. And DB's 1-3. I am 0-4. So yeah, Charlotte ended up beating Miami 129-121. So for the next game is Friday before our podcast, and then I got Boston Clippers. What do you guys think?
You already know my pick, but like that's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah.
Who's the home team?
Clippers.
I believe LA. Yeah.
Is Marcus Smart playing?
No, man, he's out.
That's a good
He's
question.
out for 2 to 3 weeks.
Clippers.
Oh shit. I'm gonna go with Boston as well.
Faraz, was that absolute utmost respect for Marcus Smart right there?
There you go, man.
He's not playing. I'm going with the Clippers.
No, for me, that was the X factor. And because I wanted to go with Boston, I wanted to be like, they're playing tough. It's going to be nice. But if Marcus Smart's out, then I feel like,
yeah.
I apprate that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I like the team, man. It's you always make me hate on them, but I actually like the team.
They're just short of guard right now, right? Like they got even with Smart, they have Kemba and Smart, but they're really missing like that third rotation guard.
Jeff Teague isn't playing well either.
Yeah, I thought he would be.
Yeah,
I thought he would be that piece, but no.
Mm-hmm. And P Rabbit's gone. He's still hurt, so we don't really have a backup point guard.
Yeah, I just mean like, I mean more so like playoff wise, like this year, who are they playing in the playoffs as their guard rotation? Right, It'll be Teague, Smart, Kemba. Yeah,
it's a tough one.
Lost Wanamaker, right? That would have been nice to have, but anyways, doesn't matter. You got JT and JB, right? So, so Chris, you went with Boston.
They should pick up Jay Cross. Come off the bench.
Nice.
That would
man. Nice. Give Isaiah Thomas a chance again. Fuck.
Damn, if there was fans, maybe get some jersey sales again. But yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised nobody's picked up Rondé Hollis-Jefferson yet. He's still free.
I didn't know he was free agent.
I know.
Yeah, I saw that randomly on IG. Yeah. Like, who wouldn't want him, right? As like your 10th guy. Like, why the fuck not? He can play like 3-4.
He's gonna end up on Brooklyn. 2-3-4.
I was just thinking that
to Brooklyn. Yeah, go back. They already just got Shump, right? Same kind of role. But yeah, Brooklyn probably gonna add some more pieces before the end of the year. Let's jump into a couple start bench cut. Faraz, I'll throw this one your way first with point guards. Tony Parker, Rondo, Steve Nash.
Ooh.
All in their primes, right?
Yeah. So Tony P, obviously, we just saw that documentary. We know what he's done. Rondo just won another chip, first player ever to do it with both LA and Boston. And then Steve Nash, back-to-back MVP. Steve Nash.
Start Tony P, bench Nash, cut Rondo.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How about you, Chris?
I think it's probably the same. As much as I love Rondo, I don't think he's at the same level as Tony P or Nash.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think Tony decided
Parker is like a slight edge to start over Nash, though. That's the only thing I have to say. Yeah.
4 rings, baby.
Back-to-back MVP, bro.
What if Steve Nash had Tim Duncan on his team?
I don't know. We'll never know.
Right? That's Tony, Kyrie Dame debate.
I think his finals MVP supersedes both of Nash's MVPs.
Wow. Oh man. The reason I chose to put Rondo in there is because I reminded myself that it was prime, and I was like, there was a time where the only person that could guard Rondo was LeBron. They had to put fucking LeBron on Rondo when they had KG and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen on that team. That was mind-boggling. But I would probably start Nash, bench Tony, and cut Rondo. But yeah.
I love
on the
Nash,
OG.
but I always felt that those MVPs were not undeserving, but other people deserve them more.
Yeah. One I would be more okay with. Yeah.
Well, one I think would have been godlike for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two just put it over the edge. Like I'm just like
Yeah. Especially with what like Kobe and what was it, Dirk? We're dropping those years as well. Insane.
Yeah, man.
Chris, how about this one for kind of like the small forward, like a power forward position? Draymond, Blake, and LaMarcus Aldridge. Remember, all in their prime.
Blake Griffin?
Yeah.
Oof.
Draymond, Blake, Aldridge.
Shit, that's a hard one.
Yeah, right?
Like, I want to keep Blake, but I don't want to keep Blake.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, let's go Aldridge, start, Draymond, bench, Blake, cut.
Nice.
Let's do that.
You too, Faraz?
Well, Blake is a cut for sure for me.
Yeah.
I was having a tough time between Aldridge and Draymond. Like,
Aldridge is more skilled. Draymond has more rings, I think.
Yes, but I feel like Draymond makes the, like, when he's in the starting five, you know, he makes things like flow better, like it's smoother with what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aldridge would come in and just get buckets, like rebound. His mid-range game was nasty. Like,
yeah.
I remember Rosen and him teamed up. It was the first time ever that the two dudes who led each conference in mid-range jump shots were on the same team.
Of course, it was the Spurs too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I would actually go. I'll start Draymond and I'll bench Aldridge. I would have Aldridge coming in like just to get 25 easy with that with the second unit.
With the second unit, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, same thing about Blake. Like I'm thinking about him in his prime. Like, how do you not have him in this? But I just personally don't. I'm not a fan of Aldridge, so I would start with Draymond and bench Blake and cut Aldridge, just to kind of swerve it a bit for you guys.
Again, yeah, like no disrespect to Blake, but Blake was an exciting player to watch.
I think Blake in his prime needed a Chris Paul.
Well, yeah, he was with Chris Paul.
I know, but like Blake without like a guard like Chris Paul wouldn't be the same Blake in his prime, I think.
No.
Yeah, but Draymond without Steph is what?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Like, yeah, but I feel like Draymond could have still been Draymond if he went to another team. Because like he
in a way,
like in a way, right? I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It obviously depends what like that squad is looking for. They're not like similar skill sets by any means, right? But I think Draymond just makes your team better, especially in his prime, those championship years, right?
And with Blake, it's always like, you know, he's a fun pooper to watch, but it's like, is he a great basketball player? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I mean with Chris. He needs like a Chris Paul to be a great player because Chris Paul fed him the alley-oops, made him into Showtime Lakers or Clippers. Sorry, you know.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like if you didn't really have that point guard, like obviously Blake can get his own shot now, but he's not in his prime now.
Yeah.
Like Blake's a 3-point specialist now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Yeah, him and Aaron Gordon both like never go in the key now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do one more with our top 3 rookie class this year. So for us, James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball, and Edwards, the number 1 pick.
Start, bench, cut.
Wiseman, LaMelo, Edwards.
Cut Edwards.
Ooh.
Start LaMelo, bench Wiseman.
Nice.
Although I was shitting on LaMelo when we first started this.
Yeah. So you'd cut Edwards easy like that.
I'll cut Edwards. Yeah. Not easy, but I cut Edwards.
Okay.
I think Wiseman has, I don't know, he has the potential, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. They all do.
I think I'll start LaMelo, I'll bench Edwards, and I'll cut Wiseman.
Ooh. Okay.
I like Edwards' game. Like, obviously, LaMelo is going to be my starter just because I really like watching him play. Like Faraz, we were talking about the last episode. Charlotte's a fun team to watch, and it's primarily because of LaMelo too. Like, obviously, Rozier, Washington, Devontae are really
athletes,
cool.
man.
Yeah, exactly. But LaMelo just like fits so perfectly in that team, I think. But Anthony Edwards looks quite good on that Minnesota team. Obviously, I haven't seen him play as much as the other two, but I really like his game. So I think I'd rather have Edwards, and Wiseman's obviously hurt right now, so we don't know what we're gonna get for that. But I don't think Wiseman's game will translate into new NBA as much as Edwards will be.
Yeah, good point. Actually, I think Edwards has been playing really well. He seems the most like well-rounded. Like he shoots confidently. Yeah. He's had a couple like massive dunks already, and like some funny moments as well. Like I think he just like was the most NBA ready. But fuck, LaMelo's shutting up a lot of people too. So I think I would bench LaMelo because I really like him coming off the bench in Charlotte. Like you said, I've watched more Charlotte basketball than I could ever imagine. But he, like you said, he just makes that team work so much better. And like Gordon Hayward as being like their number one option just fits as well because he's pretty passive, just and he's a playmaker as well. So I really like LaMelo. He's playing unreal this year, even more than the expectations, I would say. And then to bench, I think I would have to go Wiseman. I like him in Golden State. Like he's just playing his role very well for a young little pup. Edwards, he's nice, but I'm just not watching Minnesota games. So I can't do it, man. Oh man.
But yeah, LaMelo's impressive.
Yeah, straight up. And then one kind of thing I was watching, I kind of caught my eye. I wanted to talk to you guys about is Montrezl Harrell. We talked about him earlier before preseason, I believe, and we were kind of talking about him and Ibaka, who's going to be more value. And I'm pretty much, as a Laker fan now, having to eat my words. Like Ibaka's been playing pretty shit, and Trez has been playing unreal, like so unreal. He's leading the league in offensive rebounds, and he's coming off the bench, obviously. But one thing I always notice, at least like 1 or 2 times a game, he has this baseline little routine where he gets like a 15-foot jump shot, and it's the exact same thing every single time. He's on the baseline. He usually does it against like when he's matched up against like a big, like against like a Boban or a Zubac, something like that. He'll pull him out a little bit, and he'll do the same little like between the leg cross, just to get a little rhythm. And then he does the same thing that LeBron does, where he like leans back on his back foot. The pressure's already on his back foot to just kind of lean back into his step back. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't really notice that last year. Is that something like new he picked up just from LeBron? Because obviously we know LeBron's classic step back. It's always killing teams and always being made a meme out of. But do you think that's something like Trez added this year from playing with LeBron, or maybe we just didn't notice it before?
Not sure. I think Trez is quite a good pickup for a Laker, or because he was on Clippers last year, right? But he's just that undersized, like grimy, will do anything your team needs type player. So like it doesn't shock me that he leads the league in offensive rebounds because he's the only one who's going for them on that team, really. So I mean, it's quite impressive. But yeah, that move I probably think he picked up from LeBron. It's pretty nice to have LeBron on your team and just like, oh, that move's cool. Let me try it.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I love Montrez, man. I mean, I knew he would be fucking unreal for them. So I was rooting for him for day one, just because, like Chris said, he does everything that the team needs that other people might not want to do. I saw him take the occasional mid-range jumper, but it was never like consistent. But yeah, like Chris said, I'm not surprised. NBA players nowadays just adapt much better to the game than the older generation was like. So it's not surprising that these players are picking up new things just to stay relevant in the game.
Thanks for stopping by to Sesh'n with us. If you like what we're doing, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your neighbor, tell your dog. Peace.